Hello, CJHS Algebra students. This is Mr. Rock making another award-winning video. The topic of this video is absolute value equations. The absolute value of x minus a is equal to b by Mr. Rock. Okay, here's an example of another absolute value equation. It's the absolute value of x plus 5 equals 10. First step is to draw our lines here. This will help us organize our work and to solve both cases for the absolute value equation. The first case is just to write down the equation with no absolute value lines. So it's x plus 5 equals 10, minus 5 from both sides, x equals 5. Let's see if that works. Does the absolute value of 5 plus 5 equal 10? Does the absolute value of 10 equal 10? The answer is yes. Second case, write down the left-hand side without the absolute value. The right-hand side gets changed to the opposite, so the 10 becomes negative 10. All right, we're going to add 5 to both sides. We get x equals, so we're going to take away 5 from both sides. Let's try that again. Let's take away 5 from both sides. So x is equal to negative 15. Let's check. Does the absolute value of negative 15 plus 5 equal 10? Does the absolute value of negative 10 equal 10? The answer is yes. So the two solutions. And remember, most absolute value equations have two solutions. One solution is 5, and the other solution is negative 15. All right, I'm going to explain how to work out the problems first, and then after learning how to work out the problems, I'll explain what it means geometrically. So here's our first example. We have the absolute value of x minus 5 equals 3. What's important to know about absolute value equations is that most of them have two answers. So what I like to do is I write down the problem, and then I'll draw a couple of lines that look like this. And those lines represent the two cases. The first case is just solving the absolute value equation like the absolute value isn't even there. So x minus 5 equals 3. Add 5 to both sides, and we get x is equal to 8. Let's see, does that work? Let's put it into the equation. Does the absolute value of 8 minus 5 equal 3? Does the absolute value of 3 equal 3? The answer is yes. So that's the first answer. Okay, it's important to know that most of these equations have two. For the second case, you want to write down the absolute value side exactly the way it is without the absolute value lines. But the other side of the equation gets changed to its opposite. So we have a positive 3 that we change to a negative 3. And then we just solve. Add 5, and I get x equals 2. Let's check. Does the absolute value of 2 minus 5 equal 3? Does the absolute value of negative 3 equal 3? The answer is yes. Okay, so this equation, This absolute value equation has two answers. Okay, x is equal to 3 and -3. Okay, here's another example. The absolute value of x plus 2. Does that equal, or when does that equal -3? I draw my lines, a line for each case. First case, x plus 2 equals -3, minus 2 from both sides. X equals -5. Let's see. The absolute value of -5 plus 2, does that equal -3? Does the absolute value of -3 equal -3? The answer is no. -5 is not a solution. Let's try the other one. Does x plus 2 equal +3 minus 2 from both sides? X equals 1. Does the absolute value of 1 plus 2 equal -3? Does the absolute value of 3 equal -3? The answer is no. This equation has no solution. This equation has no solution. Here's a hint. Whenever there's a negative number over here, whenever you have an absolute value equaling a negative number, there's going to be no solution. Here I have an absolute value equation with the solutions. It's the absolute value of x minus 4 equals 2, and the two solutions are x equal 2 and x equals 6. Well, let's take a look at what this means geometrically. If I have a number line here, this value is your A value. This is the number that's in the middle. So this is our 4. And this number here, this is our B value. And this tells us how many spots to move in either direction. So I need to move 2 spots. So this would be 5, and this would be 6. So here's my first solution, 6. I got it algebraically. Here I got it geometrically. Here I'm going to go in the other direction 2 spaces, 1, 2, and I'm at 2. So here I am with the second answer. So geometrically what this means is, this is the number that's in the middle. This is how many we go to the right. And this is how many we go to the left. Because I don't know if you remember this, back in elementary school or intermediate school or last year, somebody used to tell you, I bet, when you learned absolute value, that absolute value meant distance, how far apart two numbers are. Well, that's what this is. That's what I'm trying to show you here. Trying to give some meaning to those statements. And also this explains why you can never have a negative number here, because distance is always measured with a positive number, and we only use the signs positive or negative to indicate direction. So if you ever have an absolute value equation and this part is negative, you know that it's going to have no solution. All right, that's the end of the video.